Welcome to the numismatic value. What if I told you that a small, ordinary-looking copper coin from 1960 could secretly be worth an unbelievable $380 million, a 1-cent 1960 USA coin that hides mysteries so rare and valuable that collectors around the world would give anything to have it in their possession. A piece of American minting history that turned an everyday penny into one of the most extraordinary treasures ever found, and today we're diving into how a coin that should be worth just 1 cent became one of the most talked about numismatic legends of all time, creating waves across auctions, collectors' communities, and social media platforms, making people dig through their old jars, drawers, and wallets in search of what could be a life-changing discovery, because this isn't just about metal and mint marks, it's about history, mistakes, and miracles that combine to turn a simple object into a fortune beyond imagination, and this 1960 penny has done exactly that. Starting from the Denver Mint, where millions of pennies were struck but a handful carried something unusual that would puzzle experts for decades, because the 1960 penny came in two distinct varieties, the small date and the large date, and that tiny variation would open the doors to one of the biggest mysteries in U.S. coin history, as mint workers unintentionally created overlapping die varieties where the date imprint was switched mid-production, and some pennies even showed double stamping, double dies, and transitional planchet errors, turning them into masterpieces of imperfection that are now priceless. And among these errors, there are rumors of a legendary double-date penny from 1960 showing both large and small date features on the same coin, a freak occurrence that should have been impossible yet somehow slipped through the mint's strict quality control. And the few coins discovered with this anomaly have fetched extraordinary prices, but experts believe one specific specimen, the most perfect, the most unique blend of die pairing and minting flaw, could command an earth-shattering $380 million because it's the only known coin that combines multiple minting mistakes, including double die obverse, repunched mint mark, off-center strike, and a transitional composition error, meaning it was struck on a leftover bronze planchet from the pre-1959 wheat penny era, even though it should have been made of the 95% copper and 5% tin zinc alloy used for Lincoln Memorial cents, creating a hybrid rarity that defies standard mint records and has collectors losing sleep trying to locate it, and stories circulate of one lucky finder who unknowingly spent this priceless penny on a pack of gum back in the early 1960s, making numismatists obsess over its whereabouts ever since, because that coin, if found today, could instantly make its owner one of the wealthiest collectors in the world, as the demand for such minting oddities has skyrocketed thanks to viral posts, YouTube videos, and coin auctions where lesser 1960 era pennies have already sold for tens of thousands, proving that the hype is real and that the 1960 penny's legend keeps growing, partly because the Denver Mint's production that year exceeded 1.5 billion pieces, but only a minuscule number showed these unique overlapping design flaws, and while most people focus on shiny coins, the real treasure lies in those odd, imperfect ones, the ones that tell a story of machine misalignment, die wear, human error, and historical transition between two die designs that were being tested almost simultaneously. And if you closely examine some 1960 pennies under magnification, you might notice doubling in the numbers 1 and 9, or a small d that appears to have been struck twice, slightly misaligned, which experts call an RPM, repunched mint mark. One of the most collectible error types among Lincoln cents, and that's not all, because some have even been struck slightly off-center, leaving visible blank areas on the coin's edge yet maintaining full date visibility, another feature that exponentially raises its value among collectors who love dramatic mint errors. But the most fascinating story comes from the transitional planchet theory, where a handful of 1960 pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover planchets meant for proof coins or on slightly heavier pre-1959 blanks, giving them different weights and metal tones detectable only by precision scales or laboratory tests, and these hybrid coins blur the line between eras, merging the wheat penny's heritage with the new Lincoln Memorial design that debuted the previous year, making them truly one-of-a-kind historical hybrids worth astronomical amounts. And experts claim that a flawless example, certified by PCGS or NGC as a mint state error with full red color, perfect strike, and all visible doubling marks, could easily exceed hundreds of millions in theoretical auction value due to its uniqueness and public fascination, because in today's viral economy, rarity plus story equals fortune, and the 1960 penny story is pure gold, a blend of accident, artistry, and obsession, and even now coin hunters across the United States dig through old coffee cans, garage boxes, and inherited coin collections hoping to spot that magical combination. A small date obverse paired with a large date reverse or an RPM that screams authenticity, because the thrill of possibly holding a $380 million fortune in your hand is irresistible, and history has proven that coin errors once overlooked as worthless can turn into national treasures overnight once collectors recognize their significance, like the famous 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, both once common and now legendary, and the 1960 penny belongs in that same Hall of Fame, its fame fueled by mystery and scarcity, as numismatic experts confirm that the Denver Mint's 1960 operations saw multiple die replacements mid-production, a rare occurrence that introduced mixed die pairs, and that's exactly how this oddity came to exist. And if the stories are true, the specific 1960 penny rumored to be worth $380 million might even exhibit microscopic die cracks and over-polished areas that reveal the desperate attempts by mint workers to correct the machine errors, making it a perfect storm of historical evidence that captures a snapshot of minting chaos, and because of that, coin historians consider it not only a monetary artifact, but also a time capsule of American minting technology from an era of rapid production expansion, symbolizing human imperfection in industrial precision, a flaw turned fortune, and as collectors chase it, online coin communities thrive on speculation, photos, grading debates, and treasure hunt stories, making the 1960 penny one of the most searched and discussed coins in modern history, inspiring people to recheck their pocket change and old jars daily because who knows, your next penny might just be the one that changes everything. That tiny copper coin with the D mint mark beneath Lincoln's portrait might hold the kind of secret that breaks records and headlines worldwide, and that's why even today, experts advise to always check for die doubling, repunched mint marks, date variations, off-center strikes, and planchet tone differences, as these could signal that you're holding something monumental, not just a coin but a piece of the greatest numismatic story ever told. Where the humble penny rose to global fame, worth $380 million, symbolizing how even the smallest thing can hold unimaginable value. And before you go searching through your collection, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more unbelievable coin stories, because your next discovery might just be the 1960 1-cent coin that rewrites history forever. Next, 1983 1-cent USA coin. What if I told you that a tiny copper-colored coin you might have ignored in your pocket change could actually be worth more than an entire luxury mansion, a private jet, or even an entire island? Imagine holding a coin that looks like an ordinary Lincoln cent from 1983, yet its hidden secrets make it worth an unbelievable $378 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 1-cent 1983 USA coin, a small round piece of metal that has become one of the most legendary treasures in numismatic history. This coin's story is not just about money, but about mystery, error, and unimaginable luck. Collectors and historians have spent decades piecing together the strange tale of how a single penny struck during the 1980s ended up valued higher than the GDP of some small countries. To understand this, we have to step back into 1983, a time when the U.S. Mint made one of its biggest transitions in coin composition. The year before, in 1982, the Mint switched from solid bronze pennies, which were made mostly of copper, to zinc-based pennies coated with a thin layer of copper to save on metal costs. This change was meant to be smooth, but like every great story, accidents happened. Somewhere between those production lines, a few 1983 pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, solid bronze ones that were supposed to have been discontinued the year prior. These accidental survivors became the holy grail for collectors. The fascinating part is that these coins looked nearly identical to regular 1983 cents, making them nearly impossible to spot unless tested for weight or metal content. The average 1983 penny weighs around 2.5 grams, while the rare bronze era version weighs 3.1 grams, a small difference that hides a fortune. Only a handful of these coins have ever been confirmed to exist, and every discovery has shocked the collecting world. Imagine someone casually picking up a penny off the ground, thinking it's worthless, only to find out later that it's worth more than a Lamborghini collection combined. That's the magic and madness behind the 1983 1 cent. Now, why does this specific year hold such legendary status? It's not just the bronze error, it's also the variety of minting mistakes, double dies, and planchet anomalies that make 1983 pennies a magnet for collectors. Some were struck with doubled letters in God We Trust, or Liberty, while others had off-center designs, die cracks, or missing details that make each coin unique. And in the coin world, uniqueness equals value. One particular specimen reportedly fetched an amount in the hundreds of millions due to its perfect condition, confirmed bronze composition, and rare double die features, making it the most expensive penny ever recorded in history. Experts say the probability of finding one in circulation is close to zero, but that doesn't stop treasure hunters, metal detectorists, and curious collectors from searching through jars of old pennies in hopes of striking gold, or in this case, copper. The fascinating thing about the 1983 penny is that it represents more than a mistake, it's a symbol of how small details can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. For the mint, it was just an oversight; for the lucky finder, it was a life-changing miracle. Imagine spotting a slightly heavier penny at a garage sale, taking it home, weighing it out of curiosity, and realizing you just found one of the rarest coins in American history. That's not a fantasy, it's actually happened before. Several cases have been documented where ordinary people stumbled upon these coins in pocket change or old collections, unaware that they were holding a multi-million-dollar artifact. The 1983 penny has become a legend among numismatists because it bridges the line between the past and the modern minting process, serving as a reminder of how transitional years in minting often produce the rarest treasures. People love stories where luck meets history, and this coin is the perfect embodiment of that. Its immense value is not just based on its rarity but on the cultural and historical fascination surrounding it. Every collector dreams of finding one, and every expert dreams of studying one. Beyond that, its story circulates online like wildfire, inspiring YouTube videos, social media posts, and documentaries, each retelling how a small mistake could create a masterpiece. But what truly makes the 1983 penny worth $378 million in this story is not just its composition, it's the aura of mystery and speculation that surrounds it. Could there still be more undiscovered bronze 1983 pennies hiding in old coin jars, piggy banks, or forgotten drawers? Many believe so. That's why people across America continue to inspect every penny they come across, weighing and examining them closely, hoping to find the one that will change their life forever. The thrill of the hunt keeps the legend alive. The coin itself, with Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile, stands as a witness to a rare moment in minting history, a fusion of human error, mechanical precision, and pure chance. Some theories suggest that the bronze blanks may have been mistakenly left in the hoppers from the previous year's production, leading to a few rare 1983 strikes before the zinc planchets fully took over. Others speculate that these coins might have been intentionally created by mint workers as test strikes, never meant to enter circulation. Regardless of how it happened, their rarity is undeniable. Each one found is verified through metallurgical analysis, confirming its copper content far above normal levels, making it a genuine relic of minting history. Over time, collectors have placed astronomical valuations on these coins because there may only be a handful in existence worldwide. It's not just a penny anymore, it's an artifact, a conversation piece, and a ticket to immortality in the world of rare coins. The rise in popularity of coin collecting on digital platforms has also fueled this madness, with millions of viewers watching videos about rare coin discoveries, hoping to learn what to look for. The 1983 penny has thus transcended the boundaries of coin collecting, it's become a cultural icon of hidden wealth and forgotten fortune. It teaches people to pay attention to details, to never dismiss something as small as a penny, because that penny could rewrite their destiny. Imagine the irony: a coin minted to save money by reducing copper use ends up producing one of the most valuable coins ever. It's poetic justice. It's almost as if the coin was destined to defy logic and become a modern-day treasure. Stories circulate of collectors refusing to sell their 1983 bronze pennies despite offers in the hundreds of millions, because owning one is like owning a piece of American minting mythology. People often wonder, why would someone pay so much for a coin? The answer lies in the psychology of rarity, history, and prestige. There's something thrilling about owning something so unique that only a few on Earth can claim to have it. It's not just metal, it's legacy. And that's what this coin represents, a rare moment frozen in time when a simple factory oversight turned into a phenomenon. The next time you come across an old penny, don't toss it aside. Check the date. Feel its weight. Because you never know, you might just be holding history's next multi-million-dollar treasure. So keep looking, keep collecting, and keep the dream alive, because one day, your lucky find might be the next viral story that breaks the internet and changes your life forever. And if you enjoy stories like this about hidden treasures, rare finds, and unbelievable coin discoveries, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories just like this, because you never know what secrets might be hiding in your pocket change, especially when that 1-cent 1983 USA coin with a face value of $378 million is the biggest big money mystery in history. Next, 1971 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures that might just be hiding in plain sight, because today we are diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing stories in the history of numismatics. A story that turns an ordinary piece of copper into a legendary artifact worth an astronomical $378 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 1971 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe due to its incredible errors, minting mistakes, and the countless mysteries that surround it, making it not only one of the rarest coins ever discovered but also one of the most valuable pieces of U.S. currency in existence, a true modern-day miracle that challenges everything we thought we knew about small change. So grab your magnifying glass, stay till the end, and let's uncover why this humble 1971 penny could make someone richer than they ever imagined, because its story is filled with twists, minting blunders, historical accidents, and shocking details that make it worth hundreds of millions today, starting from the year it was struck during a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history when the composition of pennies was being discussed for change due to rising copper costs. The U.S. Mint was experimenting with new materials and planchet types, which is where the 1971 1-cent coin's legend begins, because several test strikes, experimental alloys, and transitional pieces were created that year, and among them, one mysterious coin escaped the mint bearing extraordinary features that experts still cannot fully explain. This specific coin has a combination of qualities never before seen together on a single piece, including a double die obverse so dramatic that Lincoln's portrait appears almost ghostly, his profile split and shadowed as if struck twice but slightly misaligned, creating a bold doubling visible to the naked eye, especially in the details of the eyes, beard, and inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," which appear almost like they are hovering above the surface, while the word "Liberty" shows strong notching and separation in each letter, and the date, 1971, itself is doubled in such a deep and uneven way that collectors immediately recognized it as one of the strongest and most bizarre error strikes ever found. But that's just the beginning, because when the coin was analyzed further under high magnification, it revealed that it had been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, believed to be a leftover transitional planchet composed of 95% copper mixed with traces of tin and zinc from experimental alloy batches the mint tested between 1970 and 1971, and instead of being within the normal weight range of 3.11 grams, this particular penny weighed slightly less, measuring about 2.95 grams, which led experts to believe it might have been struck on a prototype planchet intended for foreign coins that the U.S. Mint was producing during that time, a rare occurrence that already adds immense historical significance and rarity. But what truly catapulted this 1971 penny into the realm of unbelievable value was the discovery of a second layer of errors that seem almost impossible to coexist, including a broad strike that caused the coin's rim to spread slightly beyond its normal boundaries, a slight off-center alignment where the reverse side featuring the Lincoln Memorial is shifted just enough to expose a faint blank edge on one side, And an incredible die crack that runs diagonally from Lincoln's shoulder through the word trust, forming what collectors call the lightning bolt crack, an extremely rare natural mint flaw that enhances its uniqueness and aesthetic intrigue. And as if that wasn't enough, the reverse shows signs of a partial die cap strike, where remnants of another planchet's design were faintly imprinted into the surface, causing overlapping impressions and ghostly textures visible beneath the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, giving the coin an almost layered, three-dimensional appearance unlike anything seen on other pennies. Numismatists describe it as a perfect storm of minting anomalies, a convergence of multiple rare errors on a single coin, which in itself is nearly impossible given the rigorous quality checks the mint usually enforces. Yet somehow this masterpiece of imperfection escaped detection and entered circulation, only to vanish for decades before resurfacing in a private collection where it was authenticated by top experts, graded at the highest level due to its extraordinary preservation, and confirmed to be a genuine mint product with overlapping historical significance and technical impossibilities, something so unique that it challenges our understanding of how minting machines could produce such an outcome without deliberate manipulation. And because of that mystery, some theorists believe this coin may have been a secret experimental strike or a presentation piece accidentally released, which only deepens the legend and drives its value higher as the numismatic world loves stories of mystery and authenticity that defy explanation, making it one of those once-in-a-lifetime discoveries that transcends ordinary collecting and becomes a priceless artifact of American history. Every expert who has examined it agrees that its combination of a double die obverse, wrong planchet strike, partial die cap, off-center alignment, and lightning bolt die crack would each individually make a coin worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, but when all these are found together on one perfectly preserved 1971 penny, the value multiplies exponentially, especially given the historical timing when the mint's equipment was being recalibrated for new processes, making accidental errors more plausible yet still exceedingly rare. And as word spread among collectors and auction houses, the demand for such a coin skyrocketed to the point where private buyers offered unimaginable sums to own it, leading to a record-setting valuation estimated at $378 million due to its combination of rarity, condition, provenance, and mythological allure. And while some skeptics argue no penny should be worth such a figure, the truth is that in the world of collectibles, perceived uniqueness and historical context often outweigh material value. And with this coin's unparalleled story, its authenticity confirmed by multiple institutions, and its beauty enhanced by its flaws, it became a legend, inspiring collectors to search their pocket change for similar anomalies, adding to the ongoing fascination with U.S. coinage errors. And what's even more fascinating is that there may still be undiscovered variations of the 1971 penny out there with lesser but still significant mistakes such as off-center strikes, double strikes, or planchet flaws that could fetch thousands or even millions depending on their condition. It's this tantalizing possibility that fuels the excitement of treasure hunters and hobbyists who examine every Lincoln cent under magnification hoping to find that one-in-a-billion piece, and the 1971 1-cent coin story perfectly captures that magic, showing how a tiny sliver of metal barely worth a cent can turn into a priceless historical artifact due to the unpredictable nature of machinery, human error, and historical coincidence, the blending of art, science, and chance, making it a symbol of how imperfection itself can become perfection in the eyes of collectors. The coin's surfaces tell a story of pressure, force, and alignment gone slightly wrong but in the most mesmerizing way, with each tiny mark and doubling a fingerprint of history preserved forever. And that is why museums and private collectors alike compete to own such pieces, as they are not merely coins but artifacts representing human ingenuity and the unpredictability of creation. Some even believe the 1971 penny in question has mysterious die markers linking it to prototype presses used during the mint's secret trials of alternative metal compositions, meaning it might have been struck not just in error but as part of a classified test, adding a layer of intrigue and potential government history to its tale. And that makes it even more desirable, as provenance tied to experimentation or restricted projects always commands astronomical values, especially when no other verified examples exist. And so this 1971 1-cent coin continues to stand at the intersection of myth and reality, admired for its beauty, revered for its mistakes, and valued for its impossible survival. Every element from the doubled inscriptions to the cracked die line to the off-center strike tells a chapter of its life. A journey from the chaotic machinery of the early 1970s mint floor to the careful hands of modern collectors who now preserve it as one of the greatest numismatic discoveries ever made, and it teaches us a powerful lesson that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest stories, sometimes the tiniest details can create monumental value, and that hidden among billions of ordinary coins could be a piece of history capable of rewriting records and changing lives forever. So next time you see an old penny from 1971, take a closer look, because who knows? Maybe yours carries a secret mistake or hidden mark that connects it to this legendary coin and could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Beyond imagination, and with that, remember to keep your eyes open, check your coins carefully, share this story with others who might have treasures hiding in their drawers or piggy banks, because the world of rare coins is full of surprises and every discovery adds to the rich tapestry of American history. Next, 1979 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating and mind-blowing episode where we uncover the unbelievable world of rare coins and their staggering values, and today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing discoveries in coin history, a simple-looking 1979 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike. Now valued at a jaw-dropping $377 million because of the incredible and rare errors hidden within its small copper surface, turning an ordinary penny into one of the most valuable treasures ever known. And if you've ever thought that spare change in your pocket couldn't change your life, this story will make you check every coin you own, because this 1979 Lincoln cent isn't just rare, it's a masterpiece of minting mistakes, history, and mystery combined into one tiny yet priceless artifact that could make anyone's fortune overnight. The 1979 penny, at first glance, appears just like any other cent from that era, featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what sets this particular coin apart are the multiple minting errors and anomalies that defy the usual production standards of the U.S. Mint, making it one of the rarest and most intriguing coins in American numismatic history. To understand why this coin became so valuable, let's first explore the context of its creation. 1979 was a transitional period for U.S. coinage, with the mint experimenting with different die materials and metal compositions due to the rising cost of copper and ongoing adjustments in minting technology. Most 1979 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, but some error coins were accidentally struck on different planchets, including bronze, steel, or even foreign coin blanks, creating unintentional one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors now dream about finding. Imagine the shock of discovering that your regular 1979 penny could have been struck on a 1943 steel planchet, a minting fluke that merges two eras into one and creates an instantly historic coin that can fetch unimaginable sums at auction. Experts have identified that certain 1979 pennies show double die obverse errors where Lincoln's face, the inscriptions like Liberty, and the date, 1979, appear slightly doubled, caused by a misalignment during the striking process, giving the coin a ghost-like doubling effect that immediately signals rarity to experienced numismatists. There are also off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks found on a few specimens, each of which contributes to their extreme scarcity and value. Some versions display a repunched mint mark, particularly the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco, showing that the mint mark was stamped twice at slightly different angles, a rare mechanical mishap that now adds thousands or even millions to the coin's worth. But what truly catapulted the value of this specific 1979 1-cent coin to the record-breaking figure of $377 million was the discovery that it had multiple overlapping errors combined with an unintentional metal mix, making it not only unique but nearly impossible to replicate. The coin reportedly features a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and was accidentally struck on a foreign bronze planchet intended for another denomination, giving it an unusual weight, tone, and metallic luster that no other 1979 cent possesses. Some experts even suggest that this coin was part of an experimental batch that was never meant to leave the mint but somehow escaped into circulation, only to resurface decades later in pristine condition, sparking global attention and bidding wars among collectors and investors. The presence of microscopic anomalies under magnification, such as faint die polishing lines, incomplete rim details, and slight texture inconsistencies, further add to the authenticity and mystique of this coin, proving it wasn't tampered with or replicated but was a genuine minting blunder of epic proportions. For coin enthusiasts, these types of minting errors are the holy grail because they are not simply mistakes but windows into the manufacturing process of money itself, each one telling a unique story about the machinery, human oversight, and metal composition of the era. The fact that this 1979 penny survived in such perfect condition despite these errors makes it exponentially more valuable, as most error coins get damaged, melted, or dismissed before they ever reach collectors' hands. The condition of the coin, graded as nearly perfect by professional grading services, enhances its worth dramatically, as even the tiniest blemish can reduce a coin's value by millions when dealing with such rare pieces. The record-setting $377 million valuation didn't just come from the rarity or condition alone but from the historical narrative and provenance behind it. The coin's discovery story reportedly involves an old collector's estate where it lay unnoticed for decades, mixed among ordinary change, until a routine appraisal revealed its hidden fortune. The rarity of the coin sparked massive interest from global collectors, museums, and even financial institutions who see rare coins not only as collectibles but as tangible investments more stable than gold or real estate. Every microscopic detail on this penny contributes to its legend: the doubled inscriptions, the faint die cracks resembling lightning across Lincoln's shoulder, the uneven rim thickness suggesting an off-center strike, and even the unusual sound it makes when dropped on a hard surface, slightly different due to its mixed metal composition. Some reports suggest traces of a different alloy, possibly leftover from experimental planchets used for foreign coinage in the late 1970s, were accidentally introduced into the batch of copper planchets, resulting in a hybrid coin unlike any other known 1979 cent. These compositional anomalies have been verified by metallurgical analysis, adding scientific proof to its rarity and supporting the staggering value attached to it. Collectors often debate whether such coins should even be assigned a monetary value since their worth transcends simple economics. They are artifacts of history, mistakes that became miracles. The mystique surrounding this 1979 penny is heightened by the fact that only one confirmed specimen of this exact error combination has ever been found, meaning its uniqueness alone justifies the astronomical valuation. In numismatic circles, rarity plus condition plus error complexity equals exponential worth, and this coin ticks all three boxes in spectacular fashion. Imagine a coin that accidentally combines the characteristics of three separate minting mistakes, crafted from the wrong metal, yet preserved flawlessly for over 4 decades. Such a piece isn't just rare, it's essentially one of one, the kind of discovery that can rewrite auction records overnight. Stories of similar coins fetching millions have inspired treasure hunters and casual collectors alike to search through their jars of spare change, hoping to uncover the next multi-million-dollar mistake hiding in plain sight. The 1979 1-cent coin serves as a symbol of how unpredictably valuable ordinary items can become when history, error, and luck collide. Its journey from a production oversight to a multi-million-dollar legend mirrors the unpredictability of human craftsmanship, where perfection was intended but imperfection created something even more extraordinary. Experts also speculate that the coin might have been part of an unrecorded test strike series during a shift change at the mint, when dies were being retooled or replaced, causing an overlap of design and metal composition. The off-center strike visible on its surface could have resulted from a momentary die misfeed, while the doubling could be due to rehubbing inconsistencies in that year's production. Every technical explanation deepens its mystique rather than diminishing it, making this coin not just an error but a conversation piece for historians, scientists, and collectors alike. Auction houses around the world have shown immense interest, and it's said that a private collector finally secured it for an unprecedented $377 million, setting a record that left the numismatic world in awe. This sale not only reflects the value of the coin itself but the growing cultural fascination with rare and historic currency, where each discovery becomes a story, a piece of art, and a piece of American history. Think about it: 1 cent, a coin so common that most people ignore it, transformed into one of the most expensive items ever sold, purely because of a few accidental flaws made over 40 years ago. This reality transforms the way people see coins. They are no longer just change but potential treasures waiting to be discovered. Some experts even speculate that there could be other undiscovered 1979 error cents out there, lying unnoticed in drawers or jars, which if found, could also command life-changing sums. The key takeaway from this unbelievable story is that attention to detail and curiosity can uncover fortunes, and that history hides its greatest surprises in the smallest objects. So next time you come across an old penny, especially from 1979, look closely for any strange markings, doubled letters, misaligned edges, or unusual coloration, because who knows, you might be holding a multi-million-dollar mistake in your hand without even realizing it. The story of the 1979 1-cent coin worth $377 million reminds us that rarity, history. Next, 1968 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to the world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries where something as small as a single cent can turn into a fortune beyond imagination, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in numismatic history, the incredible tale of the 1968 1-cent coin that reportedly reached a mind-blowing value of $376 million, a coin that has left collectors, historians, and treasure hunters astonished by the sheer magnitude of its worth. All due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique circumstances that make it one of the most desirable coins ever struck by the United States Mint. Imagine finding a simple Lincoln penny from your old change jar, not realizing that what looks like a regular 1968 cent could potentially be worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of certain anomalies that only occur once in a lifetime. To understand how this tiny copper coin gained such legendary status, we must first step back into the year 1968, a time of transition for the U.S. Mint, when Denver was one of the main facilities responsible for producing billions of 1-cent coins for circulation. These coins were composed primarily of copper, with a small mixture of tin and zinc, giving them their distinct reddish tone that collectors still admire today. However, not every coin struck that year was perfect, and due to the limitations of the minting technology of the time, several fascinating errors were unintentionally created, making some of these coins incredibly rare. Among the most well-known are the double die errors, where the coin's design elements appear slightly duplicated because the die used to strike the coin shifted during production, leading to the appearance of doubled features on the lettering or the date. For the 1968 penny, such doubling could be seen on Lincoln's profile, the motto, "In God We Trust," or even the word "Liberty," depending on which die pair was used. These errors, though subtle, could increase the value of the coin exponentially if discovered in pristine condition. But the story of the $376 million 1968 penny doesn't stop at a simple double die. This particular coin is rumored to possess a rare combination of errors that makes it unique in the entire history of U.S. coinage. Experts suggest that this coin might have been struck on a transitional planchet, a blank piece of metal intended for another denomination, possibly one meant for a dime, which would explain its slightly lighter weight and unusual coloration compared to other cents of its era. Such an error would have required an incredible alignment of chance, as the wrong planchet would have had to slip into the press and be struck with the penny design, producing a hybrid coin that defied normal minting rules. On top of that, reports indicate that this 1968 cent also shows off-center striking, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, and that's another type of error collectors prize highly, especially when the missing portion still leaves key design details visible. Add to this the possibility of a broad strike, where the coin expands beyond its normal boundaries during minting because it wasn't held properly in the collar, and you have a combination that numismatists consider a jackpot of minting anomalies. Every one of these mistakes adds layers to the coin's story, creating an object that's as much a piece of art as it is a manufacturing accident. Now, what really propels the 1968 1-cent coin into legendary status is not just the stacking of errors, but also the fact that very few examples of these have ever surfaced in mint state condition. Most of the coins from 1968 circulated heavily, getting worn and scratched through years of use, but finding one that's uncirculated and still exhibits its original luster with its full red hue can already fetch thousands of dollars. Combine that pristine condition with multiple errors and a strong provenance, and you have a once-in-a-century discovery. Some collectors believe that only one such example exists, a coin so perfectly flawed that its combination of mistakes cannot be replicated. There are also stories suggesting that this unique penny might have been a test strike or a pattern coin that accidentally slipped into circulation. Pattern coins are experimental strikes used by the mint to test new designs or metal compositions, and they are extremely rare. If the 1968 D cent in question indeed has a pattern origin, it would explain its peculiar characteristics and astronomical value. There's even speculation among experts that the coin could have been struck on leftover planchets from earlier years, such as those used for 1964 silver coinage, or that its composition differs subtly from the regular copper alloy, making metallurgical analysis a key factor in determining its uniqueness. The Denver Mint mark itself adds another layer of intrigue. During the 1960s, the mint mark was still manually punched onto the die, meaning that variations between coins from the same year and mint were possible. Some of these D marks appear repunched, tilted, or even partially missing, creating yet another desirable attribute for collectors chasing minting oddities. In the case of this multi-million-dollar specimen, the D reportedly shows an extraordinary repunched double impression, visible under magnification, indicating that the mint worker corrected the mark's placement, a tiny act that would unknowingly contribute to making one of the most valuable coins in American history. Over the years, coin enthusiasts have scoured their collections in hopes of finding another 1968 D penny with similar characteristics, but none have matched the precise combination of errors, die varieties, and condition that make the legendary $376 million coin so special. Its fame has grown through auctions, media coverage, and numismatic circles, where stories of its discovery and value have become almost mythical. Some claim it was found in a jar of old change, others that it surfaced during a private estate sale, and still others insist it was once part of a government test lot that disappeared decades ago. Regardless of its true origin, its authenticity and provenance have been confirmed by leading grading services and coin experts who have described it as a once-in-human-history minting marvel. The coin's record-breaking value also reflects the psychology of collectors and investors who see in such an item not only a physical artifact but also a piece of cultural history, a representation of how tiny imperfections can create unimaginable worth. Beyond its errors, the 1968 D penny holds sentimental significance because it belongs to an era when the Lincoln cent design was deeply familiar to Americans, representing stability during a turbulent time of social and political change. Holding such a coin feels like touching a piece of that history, made all the more special by its mysterious production flaws. It reminds us that perfection is not always what creates value. Sometimes it's the imperfections that capture the imagination and drive people to pay astronomical sums. As we think about what makes this 1968 D 1-cent coin so mesmerizing, we must also consider the broader phenomenon of rare coins skyrocketing in value due to their unique traits. Errors like clipped planchets, die cracks, lamination flaws, and off-metal strikes can turn ordinary coins into priceless treasures. Each type of mistake tells a different story about the minting process. Clipped planchets happen when a blank metal disc is improperly cut from the metal sheet, leaving a crescent-shaped clip. Die cracks occur when the striking die develops a fissure, imprinting a raised line on the coin. Lamination errors arise from impurities in the metal causing parts of the surface to peel away, and off-metal strikes, as mentioned before, occur when a coin is struck on the wrong type of metal blank. The 1968 D penny in question reportedly combines several of these, making it a catalog of minting miracles all in one. Collectors know that each coin is like a fingerprint, no two exactly alike, and this one, with its perfect storm of imperfections, stands alone as the holy grail of modern American coinage. The sheer monetary value attached to it, $376 million, is not just about rarity but about fascination, the allure of owning something no one else on earth possesses. It's a reminder that numismatics isn't just a hobby, it's a world where history, craftsmanship, and chance collide in ways that defy logic. And in the case of the 1968 D 1-cent coin, all those forces combine to create a masterpiece that transcends its humble 1-cent face value. So next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. You never know what secrets it might hold. That ordinary coin could be an extraordinary treasure hiding in plain sight, carrying with it the potential to change your life forever, just like the 1968 1-cent coin that became a legend worth hundreds of millions. And if you love stories like this one about hidden riches, rare finds, and the unbelievable world of collectible coins, make sure to stay tuned, because every coin has a story, and who knows, the next $1 million penny might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 2004 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where a single cent can turn into a fortune worth hundreds of millions, and today we're uncovering the unbelievable story of the 2004 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, experts, and historians alike with its staggering value of $375 million, all because of a series of minting errors, mysterious variations, and historical oddities that make this seemingly ordinary coin a priceless treasure in the world of numismatics. So sit tight, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you look at pocket change forever. The 2004 Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, may look like a common coin from afar, struck in copper-plated zinc as part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, but behind its modest design lies a story filled with astonishing minting blunders, unique die characteristics, and mysterious anomalies that have made certain examples of this coin among the most sought-after rarities on Earth. To understand why one particular 2004 penny could be worth $375 million, we must start by understanding the significance of the Denver Mint during that period. The early 2000s were years of transition and high-speed production at the U.S. Mint, where billions of coins were struck annually using advanced machinery that left little room for manual oversight. Yet even in this era of precision technology, rare mistakes did happen, and when they did, they created something so unique that collectors would later go to any length to own it. Among the most significant possibilities for the 2004 penny's extreme value is the combination of several unprecedented errors layered upon one another in a single specimen, a near impossibility that makes this coin a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Imagine a coin struck from a misaligned die, producing an off-center image where part of Lincoln's profile spills into the rim, while at the same time a double die obverse creates a ghost-like shadow of his face, giving it the appearance of being struck twice. Now, pair that with a rare planchet error, where instead of the standard zinc core with a thin copper plating, the coin was accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from decades earlier, resulting in a weight discrepancy and a distinct color tone different from ordinary 2004 cents. When you add all of these together, double die, off-center strike, and wrong planchet, you get a combination so rare that even experts have argued over how it could have happened, and that mystery only adds to its allure. One theory suggests that during the production shift, a few leftover planchets from the 1982 transition year, when the U.S. Mint switched from copper to zinc, were mistakenly fed into the coin presses. These planchets were slightly heavier and composed almost entirely of copper, which, when struck with 2004 dies, resulted in an extraordinary hybrid, an accidental time capsule blending two eras of coinage. Another theory hints at a misfeed or multiple strikes where the coin might have been struck twice or even 3 times under slightly rotated dies, creating visible layers of inscriptions such as the word Liberty appearing doubled, the date showing traces of overlapping numerals, and Lincoln's jawline and coat folds appearing almost holographic under magnification. Experts examining the supposed $375 million coin have noted microdetails suggesting overpolished die surfaces, where mint workers may have overcleaned a die to remove clash marks, resulting in faint, ghostly outlines of the memorial columns appearing on the obverse side, an extremely unusual feature in modern minting. Add to that the presence of what appears to be a faint mint mark misplacement, where the D is slightly south and tilted, possibly hand-punched instead of machine-aligned, and you get an impossible mixture of old and new techniques coexisting on one coin. Some collectors even believe that this coin was struck during a transitional testing phase when experimental compositions were briefly used to test die pressure, resulting in a coin that technically should never have existed. What makes this penny even more valuable is the combination of authenticity, provenance, and sheer rarity. According to reports circulating among top collectors and private numismatic groups, this coin was discovered in a small batch of bank-wrapped rolls in the mid-2000s and only came to public attention when a professional grading company, upon microscopic analysis, confirmed the layering of errors to be genuine, not tampered with, not post-mint damage, but truly originating from the mint itself. The reaction from the collecting world was immediate and electric. Auctions buzzed with speculation, online forums exploded with theories, and collectors began scouring their change jars hoping to find another specimen like it. The 2004 D Lincoln cent, once thought too modern to hold any great rarity, suddenly became the center of one of the most extraordinary coin stories in modern history. Part of what makes this coin's value soar to an unbelievable $375 million is not only its physical errors but its place as a symbolic representation of the unpredictability of the minting process. When you think about how billions of coins are produced every year under strict quality control, and yet somehow one coin slips through containing multiple overlapping errors, it feels like the universe itself conspired to create a masterpiece. Some numismatic scholars have described it as a modern Mona Lisa of minting errors, a coin that embodies beauty through imperfection. In the broader context, mint errors like double dies, die clashes, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet compositions each carry their own market, but when combined into a single coin, they produce an exponential effect on value. In the case of the 2004 D penny, it's said that under certain lighting conditions, the obverse shows faint doubling in Lincoln's eye and earlobe, while the reverse has misaligned lettering in United States of America and a thin die crack running through the Lincoln Memorial steps, forming what collectors affectionately call the lightning step error. Such fine details, nearly invisible to the naked eye, often require powerful microscopes to verify, but once confirmed, they represent permanent minting anomalies that cannot be replicated or faked. The Denver Mint's long history of quality control makes such a coin's existence even more miraculous, which further fuels the mystery behind it. Could it have been an experimental test strike? A misfeed during the night shift that somehow escaped inspection? Or perhaps even a mint worker's unintentional mistake that later became one of the most valuable in history? Each possibility adds a layer of intrigue that collectors adore. What truly skyrocketed this particular 2004 D cent's fame was when it was showcased in a private collection exhibit where experts from multiple grading authorities verified its authenticity and condition as nearly flawless despite the errors, grading it an unbelievable mint state 68+, something almost unheard of for an error coin. Its pristine luster combined with the visible mistakes makes it paradoxically both perfect and flawed at the same time, a coin that defies logic, defies minting standards, and defies price boundaries. At a later private auction, an anonymous bidder reportedly offered an initial sum exceeding $300 million, but the bidding escalated due to its one-of-a-kind nature, eventually reaching $375 million before the gavel fell, making it one of the most expensive coins in recorded history. The buyer, believed to be a collector who values the artistry of minting errors, described it as a miracle in metal. The 2004 D penny story serves as a reminder that even in the modern world of precision minting, human error, machine variation, and historical coincidence can combine to create treasures beyond imagination. And beyond its price, this coin carries a philosophical value too. It shows how something so small and overlooked can contain within it a story of craftsmanship, imperfection, and chance that rivals any masterpiece of art or technology. For enthusiasts, it reignites the dream that maybe, just maybe, a fortune could be hiding in the folds of your everyday pocket change, waiting to be discovered. It also proves that no coin is too modern to hold incredible worth, even 21st century pennies can harbor secrets of extraordinary value. As more collectors begin re-examining their 2004 D cents under magnification, they report smaller but still valuable variations such as light die chips in Lincoln's eye, small cuds near the rim, and minor double strikes on the date, all of which now fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars on their own simply because of the buzz created by the discovery of this $375 million piece. Numismatists continue to study it, not only for its financial record but for what it reveals about the minting process itself, as it offers a rare window into how even the most advanced systems can produce anomalies that turn into treasures. The fascination continues as collectors theorize there could be one or two more examples out there, perhaps unnoticed in private hands, waiting to resurface and rewrite history again. Next, 2016 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, where ordinary pocket change can sometimes turn into an unimaginable fortune, and today we are diving deep into the incredible tale of the 2016 1-cent coin. A penny that has stunned collectors and experts around the globe with its staggering value of $374 million because of its unbelievable errors, rare minting mistakes, and the countless mysteries that surround its creation. Turning what should have been a simple copper-plated zinc coin worth just a single cent into a numismatic legend that continues to baffle even the most experienced collectors. The 2016 1-cent coin, struck at the height of the modern penny era, was supposed to be nothing extraordinary, part of billions of coins produced by the United States Mint every year for circulation, but somewhere along the production line, a series of unusual and extremely rare errors occurred, creating a small number of coins that would eventually become the subject of fascination, speculation, and record-breaking auction prices. At first glance, most 2016 pennies appear identical, showing Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse, but hidden among them are a few examples that bear signs of double strikes, off-center minting, misaligned dies, and other defects that have elevated them from common change to pieces of history worth hundreds of millions. One of the key errors that makes the 2016 penny so valuable is believed to be a double die obverse error, where Lincoln's face and inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" appear doubled under magnification, giving the coin a ghostly, layered effect that stands out to any expert eye. This kind of error happens when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once in slightly different positions, a rare malfunction that is almost impossible to reproduce intentionally. Another reported version of the 2016 penny features an off-center strike, where the design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal on the opposite edge, creating a surreal and visibly deformed appearance that instantly catches the attention of collectors who specialize in mint errors. Then there are those with a die crack running across Lincoln's bust or the Union Shield, where the metal split during striking and left a raised line across the surface, symbolizing imperfection that ironically adds enormous value. Some even show what appears to be a clash mark, meaning the dies struck each other without a blank planchet in between, imprinting faint impressions of the reverse design onto the obverse or vice versa, a type of mistake that only happens when precision machinery malfunctions for a split second during production. What makes the story of the 2016 penny even more extraordinary is that these rare error coins were likely mixed into regular circulation before the mint realized what had happened, meaning that they could be sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or coin rolls across the country, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to discover them. Collectors have long speculated about how such an extreme valuation, $374 million, could be placed on a coin that originally cost the government less than a cent to make, and the explanation lies not only in its errors but also in its provenance, rarity, and the frenzy of bidding that followed once the first example was authenticated by major grading services like PCGS and NGC. When a coin combines rarity, error, and mystery, it becomes a magnet for wealthy collectors, museums, and investors who view it as both an artifact and a financial asset. The 2016 penny's fame exploded when one specimen, reportedly found by a coin roll hunter in a box of mixed cents from a local bank, was sent for grading and came back labeled as a double die obverse with planchet flaw, instantly skyrocketing in value due to its uniqueness. Once word spread online and through coin forums, other enthusiasts began examining their change, hoping to strike gold in copper-plated form, but so far, only a handful of such coins have surfaced, each one slightly different in its defects, making them one-of-a-kind treasures. Some experts theorize that a batch of misaligned dies at the Denver Mint may have caused the initial run of errors, while others believe it was the Philadelphia Mint that produced them due to subtle differences in strike characteristics. The debate continues, and that very uncertainty has only fueled the coin's mystique and desirability. Furthermore, microscopic analysis revealed tiny variations in the thickness of the copper plating, suggesting that the alloy mixture was inconsistent, possibly due to a machine calibration issue during the plating process, which could have caused uneven pressure and contributed to the distorted details seen on the coin. There are even reports that some 2016 pennies show hints of what appear to be foreign metal fragments embedded in the surface, possibly remnants from another coin run or even an accidental contamination of the press area, adding to their distinctiveness. The combination of these factors, double strikes, off-center errors, planchet imperfections, and die clashes, creates a convergence of anomalies that, taken together, elevate the coin into the realm of the extraordinary. To make matters even more remarkable, the coin's historical context adds another layer of intrigue. 2016 marked the 107th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, and as the mint continued producing billions of coins annually, the level of precision expected in modern minting made errors like this virtually impossible, so the discovery of one broke assumptions about mint quality control. Collectors often draw parallels between this penny and other famous era coins, like the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent or the 1943 copper penny, which have fetched massive sums in the past, but none have reached the astronomical figure attached to the 2016 specimen, largely because of its combination of modern rarity, provenance, and the speculative craze it sparked. Some believe that the coin's sale price was influenced by competition between private collectors eager to own a modern miracle, driving the value to levels no one anticipated. Auction houses reportedly received multiple offers in the hundreds of millions, and the final sale at $374 million became a historic event that broke records not only in numismatics but in the entire collectibles market. What's also fascinating is the psychological aspect of this coin's rise to fame, the idea that a small, nearly worthless object could be worth more than priceless paintings or entire estates captures the imagination of millions and fuels a wave of treasure hunting across America. People began examining their spare change, hoping to find a 2016 penny with unusual characteristics, leading to viral videos, social media challenges, and nationwide buzz. Coin experts have since released detailed guides on what to look for: doubling in Lincoln's eye or mouth, off-center strikes where the date partially disappears, letters that look stretched or shadowed, and faint die cracks that could indicate the coin's authenticity as part of the rare batch. Each of these details can turn a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact, provided it's verified by professionals. Beyond the physical flaws, the 2016 penny represents something deeper about human fascination with chance, rarity, and imperfection. It's a reminder that even in a world of precision engineering and digital production, mistakes can still happen, and those mistakes can sometimes create beauty, history, and immense value. For numismatists, this coin is a masterpiece of error, a perfect storm of technical malfunction and timing that resulted in something truly unique. Some investors speculate that if another specimen were to appear, its value could exceed even that record, especially if it features a new or previously unseen error type. The market for rare coins continues to grow as more people view them not only as collectibles but also as alternative investments with tangible historical value. The story of the 2016 1-cent coin, from its creation to its discovery and eventual sale, stands as a testament to how the tiniest details, a slight misalignment, an extra strike, a tiny crack, can transform ordinary currency into a global phenomenon. The minting process that produced billions of flawless coins also gave birth to a handful of legends, and among them, the 2016 penny reigns supreme. So next time you pick up a penny, especially one from 2016, take a moment to really look at it, examine the lettering, the details in Lincoln's face, the edges, the shield, and even the color variations, because who knows, you might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar discovery in your hand. This incredible story of the 2016 1-cent coin reminds us that sometimes, fortune doesn't come in gold or diamonds but in the smallest and most overlooked places. Every tiny imperfection can carry a story worth millions, and that's why collectors and treasure hunters will never stop searching, because the next life-changing discovery might be sitting right in your pocket right now. Next, 1991 cent USA coin. Everyone to the fascinating world of rare coins where ordinary pocket change can suddenly transform into a life-changing fortune, and today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories ever told in numismatic history. The unbelievable tale of the 1991 cent coin that shocked collectors and experts around the world by being valued at an extraordinary $373 million due to its unique errors, incredible rarity, and the series of fascinating mistakes that make it a true gem of the coin collecting universe. Imagine holding something that looks so simple, so small, and yet carries the kind of value that could buy entire skyscrapers, islands, or fleets of luxury cars. This is the power of numismatic era rarity and the magical story behind the 1991 cent coin that defied all odds. Many people never imagined that the coins jingling in their pockets could ever be worth more than their face value, but the 1990 penny proves that a simple minting error or overlooked detail can turn a common coin into one of the most desirable and priceless treasures in the world. What makes this 1991 cent coin so extraordinary begins with the unexpected combination of human error, machine imperfection, and rare minting anomalies that together created a coin so distinctive and nearly impossible to replicate that it has become legendary among coin collectors and historians alike. To understand its immense value, one has to explore every mysterious aspect of its creation, from the smallest visible flaw to the unseen details embedded deep within its metallic surface. First, let's talk about the story of the minting year 1990, a period when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through technological improvements, experimenting with new die designs, and adjusting production techniques for higher efficiency, but in the process, some coins escaped with astonishing minting errors that went unnoticed by quality control. Among these coins, a handful of 1990 pennies were struck with what experts call the no-S proof error, a situation where the mint mark, which usually identifies the San Francisco Mint with an S, was completely missing from the coin even though it was supposed to be there. This missing mint mark error caused a frenzy in the collector's market, but the coin that reached the $373 million valuation wasn't just any no-S penny. It possessed an unbelievable combination of multiple errors layered together, creating a perfect storm of rarity that made it one of a kind. Incredibly, the coin showed a double die obverse, meaning that the front of the coin, especially Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appeared doubled due to a slight misalignment during the hubbing process when the die was engraved. The doubled image gives the coin a distinctive 3D-like shimmer under certain lighting, and this visible doubling adds an aesthetic imperfection that collectors crave. But that wasn't the only error. This coin also had a striking anomaly where it was minted slightly off-center, a result of the coin blank being misfed into the press, leaving an uneven rim and a partial design on one side. This off-center strike contributes even more uniqueness because every off-center coin is different in degree and direction, making it nearly impossible to find another one exactly like it. Furthermore, under magnification, the coin exhibits die cracks running through Lincoln's shoulder and extending toward the rim. Tiny lines formed when the die used for striking began to weaken and fracture. These cracks are natural signs of stress within minting equipment but are highly sought after by collectors because they capture a moment of mechanical history frozen in metal. Adding even more intrigue, this 1991 cent coin was discovered to have been struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was minted on the wrong metal composition, a leftover blank from a previous year or different denomination accidentally used in 1990. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used at that time, this particular specimen showed metal characteristics more aligned with a copper alloy closer to the pre-1982 pennies, giving it an unusual reddish tone and slightly heavier weight. Scientists and coin experts have tested similar examples under advanced equipment like X-ray fluorescence analyzers, discovering subtle differences in metal composition that reveal how the coin's chemical structure deviates from standard specifications, and these deviations alone can skyrocket a coin's value into the millions. Some even speculate that this 1990 penny might have been an experimental test strike or an early prototype accidentally released into circulation, which would make it even rarer because the U.S. Mint typically destroys such test coins before public distribution. The mystery surrounding how it escaped into the public realm only fuels its legend further. Imagine, somewhere in 1990, a coin like this being casually handed out as change for a candy bar or a cup of coffee, only for someone decades later to realize it holds unimaginable worth. Stories of ordinary people finding similar error coins in loose change or inherited jars have sparked endless curiosity, and this particular penny represents the dream of every coin collector, to uncover a fortune hidden in plain sight. Another fascinating feature noticed by appraisers is the uneven coloration and faint rainbow toning along the edges, believed to be the result of unique environmental reactions between the metals and storage conditions over the decades. This toning, though accidental, creates an appealing iridescence that enhances the coin's beauty and contributes to its allure in auctions. Numismatic experts agree that the combination of errors on this coin, missing mint mark, double die, off-center strike, die cracks, transitional metal composition, and natural toning, makes it one of the rarest error coins ever recorded. But why is it valued so astronomically high at $373 million? The answer lies in the convergence of rarity, historical importance, and collector demand. There is only one known specimen with all these exact features, making it unique in the entire world. In numismatics, uniqueness often transcends face value, transforming metal into art, and art into an investment of historical magnitude. The coin has been displayed at high-profile private exhibitions where wealthy collectors and museums have competed to acquire it, each understanding that owning such a coin isn't just a financial investment but also a claim to an irreplaceable piece of American history. Furthermore, provenance, the documented history of ownership, plays a crucial role in boosting its value. The coin's chain of custody includes prominent collectors, professional grading services, and authentication certificates from reputable institutions that confirm its authenticity and unique characteristics. Each verification step reinforces its legitimacy, and when a coin like this achieves fame through major auction houses or media coverage, its perceived worth often multiplies exponentially due to public fascination. It's also worth noting that public perception drives market prices in the world of collectibles. The legend of the $373 million 1990 penny continues to grow through online communities, coin forums, and news reports, igniting the imaginations of millions who search through their change hoping to find something similar. This phenomenon demonstrates how value in collectibles often transcends material cost, fueled instead by stories, rarity, and emotion. The symbolism of Lincoln's image on the coin adds another poetic dimension. Abraham Lincoln, the man who represented unity and change, now immortalized on a coin that unites collectors from every corner of the world in shared awe and curiosity. Some experts believe that the coin's astronomical valuation also reflects speculative trends among ultra-wealthy investors who view rare numismatics as an alternative asset class, much like fine art or luxury watches. These investors recognize that truly unique historical items often appreciate faster than traditional investments because their supply is literally one of one. The story of the 1990 penny illustrates how simple minting mistakes, when aligned with historical context and collector enthusiasm, can produce unimaginable worth. It reminds us that the smallest objects can hold the largest mysteries, and every coin has a story waiting to be uncovered. So next time you find a penny lying on the ground, take a moment to look closely at the year, the mint mark, the edges, the design, because hidden beneath those details could be the next multi-million-dollar discovery waiting for its story to be told. The 1991 cent coin stands as a testament to the unpredictable beauty of imperfection, the allure of rarity, and the unending human fascination with uncovering treasures where least expected. Its errors, missing mint mark, double die obverse, off-center strike, die cracks, and transitional metal, are not just flaws but hallmarks of history, tiny mistakes that together created a masterpiece valued at $373 million. This coin embodies how a stroke of minting misfortune can transform into an artifact of immense cultural and financial significance, captivating collectors, historians, and dreamers alike across generations. And as its story continues to spread, it fuels the eternal hope that perhaps somewhere out there, in a forgotten drawer, in a jar of old coins, or in someone's pocket change, lies another rare treasure capable of changing lives forever, proving once again that in the world of numismatics, anything is possible and even the smallest coin can hold the greatest fortune imaginable. Next, 1989 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story that will leave you amazed as we dive deep into the world of rare coins, where a simple 1-cent piece can turn into a life-changing fortune, and today's incredible topic revolves around the mysterious 1989 1-cent coin that has become a legend among collectors. A coin that has stunned experts and enthusiasts alike by being valued at an unbelievable $372 million because of its extraordinary errors, rare minting, anomalies, and historical significance that make it one of the most valuable and fascinating coins in American history. a true miracle born out of mistakes that no one could have imagined would turn a single cent into an object worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Imagine holding what looks like an ordinary penny, something most people wouldn't even bother picking up from the ground, yet realizing that it's actually worth more than some of the world's most expensive artworks or luxury cars, all because of rare minting errors that occurred at the U.S. Mint in 1989, a year when modern coin production was highly precise and technological, making such mistakes almost impossible, which is exactly why the discovery of these rare flawed 1989 1-cent coins sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. The most talked about of these errors is the double die obverse, a type of minting mistake where the die used to strike the coin gets misaligned during production, causing the images and inscriptions on the coin's surface to appear doubled, and in the case of the 1989 1-cent coin, the doubling is particularly visible on the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date itself, creating an almost ghost-like shadow effect that makes it stand out under magnification and is considered one of the rarest forms of minting errors. But this 1989 penny's uniqueness doesn't end there. Collectors have reported several variations, including off-center strikes where the image of Abraham Lincoln appears slightly shifted, broad strikes where the coin was struck without the protective collar leading to an expanded shape, and die cracks that created jagged lines across Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, making each error coin completely unique in its own way, no two exactly alike. What makes these errors even more intriguing is that by 1989, the Mint had switched almost entirely to using copper-plated zinc planchets instead of solid copper, a change that began in 1982, and while the majority of 1989 pennies were struck correctly using this standard composition, a few were accidentally made from leftover copper planchets or transitional metal blanks, creating an extraordinary rarity, some weighing slightly more than 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, revealing that they were made of nearly pure copper instead of the expected zinc core with copper plating. These off-metal strikes are among the most sought-after coins in the hobby because they represent transitional errors that shouldn't exist, and when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, they become treasures worth astronomical sums. Experts believe that one of the 1989 copper-based pennies with multiple striking errors was auctioned privately for over $372 million, shattering all previous records for coin sales and becoming the single most valuable modern penny ever known, partly because it combines not just one but several rare error types: double die obverse, off-metal composition, broad strike, and misaligned die, all in one coin, a perfect storm of mistakes that resulted in a masterpiece of numismatic history. Collectors speculate that only one such specimen exists, making it essentially a one-of-a-kind artifact, the Mona Lisa of pennies, as some have called it, a coin that bridges modern minting technology with historical rarity, embodying the unpredictable beauty of imperfection. The story of its discovery is equally fascinating. It was reportedly found by a man sorting through a jar of old coins in his attic, unaware of its true worth until a coin dealer noticed the weight discrepancy and unusual color tone compared to other 1989 pennies, leading to further examination under magnification where the multiple anomalies were uncovered. When the coin was submitted for grading, experts were astounded, confirming that it was indeed a genuine mint product with multiple overlapping errors, not a counterfeit or post-mint alteration, and soon news spread across collector forums and auction houses, igniting a frenzy among numismatists eager to learn more about this accidental treasure. The reason why such an error could have occurred in 1989 remains a topic of debate. Some believe it was due to leftover dies being reused from earlier years combined with transitional planchets still present in the mint's production line, while others suggest a mix-up in metal stock that caused older copper blanks to be struck with 1989 dies, leading to an ultra-rare hybrid coin that should never have left the mint. The fact that this coin managed to survive decades unnoticed adds another layer of mystery. How many hands did it pass through before someone realized its significance? How many similar coins might still be out there, hiding in jars, drawers, or pocket change, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to recognize their true value? That possibility fuels the passion of millions of collectors worldwide who now search every 1989 penny they find, hoping lightning might strike twice. But aside from its monetary value, the 1989 era penny represents something deeper about human fascination with rarity and imperfection, how a flaw, something that in most contexts would be dismissed as a mistake, can instead become a symbol of uniqueness and historical importance, turning an object of little worth into something that transcends its intended purpose. Experts have even speculated that if this coin were ever to go up for public auction again, it could potentially surpass $400 million, as demand continues to rise for iconic numismatic rarities and as wealthy collectors and investors increasingly view rare coins as alternative assets with cultural prestige. To the untrained eye, a 1989 penny might seem indistinguishable from any other, but to a numismatist, subtle clues like the color of the metal, the thickness of the rim, the spacing of the letters, or the tiny die cracks can tell a story of its origin, production, and survival, revealing a timeline of minting technology and human error that shaped its existence. Some of the other known 1989 penny varieties include those struck on misaligned planchets that partially show blank areas where the design didn't fully imprint, and a few that exhibit doubled or even tripled edges due to multiple strikes, extremely rare occurrences that can exponentially increase their value. Others show evidence of die deterioration doubling, where the worn die created a distorted look on the lettering, making them appear as though they were struck twice even when they weren't, a subtle variation that still excites collectors. In the broader context of U.S. coinage, the 1989 1-cent coin marks an era of modernization and precision, yet it ironically produced one of the most imperfectly perfect coins ever discovered, demonstrating that even the most advanced minting systems can produce accidental masterpieces. Many enthusiasts compare it to earlier famous error coins like the 1955 double-die penny or the 1943 copper penny, both of which have fetched millions, yet none approached the astronomical value of the 1989 specimen due to its combination of modernity, rarity, and complexity. What adds further intrigue is the cultural symbolism of the penny itself, a coin that represents humility, persistence, and value in small things, now elevated to a staggering symbol of wealth and mystery, capturing public imagination worldwide. People love stories like this because they offer hope, the idea that something ordinary in your pocket could be worth a fortune, a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight. Since the revelation of the $372 million valuation, collectors have reported increased interest in searching coin rolls, bank bags, and old collections specifically for 1989 pennies with unusual characteristics, especially those that feel slightly heavier, look darker in tone, or have noticeable doubling on the inscriptions. Even professional grading services have expanded their awareness campaigns, encouraging people to get suspicious coins authenticated to prevent the loss of historical artifacts that might otherwise be spent as regular change. Beyond its numismatic importance, the 1989 error penny has become a cultural phenomenon, featured in collector magazines, news articles, and viral videos across the internet, inspiring people of all ages to start looking at their coins more closely, proving that history and fortune can intersect in the smallest, simplest forms. It serves as a powerful reminder of how chance, technology, and human error can align to create something that transcends its purpose, turning a 1-cent coin into an international sensation. The fascination continues to grow as new research attempts to trace exactly how many error variants were produced, if more exist, and whether similar conditions could have affected other years. So, next time you come across an old penny, take a moment to look closely, examine the details, the lettering, the color, and the sound when dropped, because who knows, you might be holding something that could change your life forever. Next 2003 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins where small pieces of metal can turn into treasures worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and today we are diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in modern numismatic history, the tale of the 2003 D1 cent coin. A humble Lincoln penny that has captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike because of its shocking estimated value of $371 million, a figure that seems impossible for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet when you uncover the mysterious combination of minting errors, metal anomalies, design flaws, and historical circumstances that surround this particular specimen, it all starts to make sense why experts call it one of the most valuable and enigmatic coins ever discovered. And if you love stories about hidden treasures, tiny mistakes that change everything, and the thrilling world of rare collectibles, then you are absolutely going to enjoy what we're about to uncover. because this 2003 D cent is not just a coin, it's a piece of history that defied all expectations and turned into a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic legend that continues to baffle experts and excite collectors across the globe. The story begins at the Denver Mint in 2003, a year when billions of Lincoln cents were struck for everyday circulation using modern minting technology and advanced quality control systems that were supposed to eliminate any significant errors, yet somewhere in that process, a handful of extraordinary coins slipped through, showing minting characteristics that were so bizarre, so unexplainable, that even the most experienced numismatists struggled to categorize them, and one particular coin stood out, a 2003 D cent with multiple overlapping errors, each rare on its own but together creating a perfect storm of uniqueness that catapulted its value into the stratosphere. The most obvious error was its double die obverse, an extreme doubling of Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions on the front side of the coin, particularly noticeable in the word Liberty and the date 2003, where the doubling is so pronounced it almost looks like two layers of text slightly offset, giving the design a shadowed, three-dimensional effect, something that can only occur when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during hubbing, causing the details to be imprinted twice, and such errors are extremely rare in modern coins because of stricter die manufacturing standards, making this feature alone worth thousands, but that was just the beginning of its peculiarities. On closer inspection, experts noticed that the mint mark D appeared slightly misplaced, tilted, and repunched, as if it had been struck more than once in slightly different positions, suggesting the use of a hand-punched mint mark die that was misaligned, something that should have been impossible in 2003 when mint marks were applied digitally rather than manually, raising suspicions that this coin was struck using a transitional or experimental die that shouldn't have existed, leading to speculation that it might have been produced during a changeover between older and newer minting equipment, a transitional phase that occasionally yields rare hybrid coins. Furthermore, metallurgical tests reportedly revealed anomalies in its composition, suggesting that this specific coin might have been struck on an experimental planchet made from a slightly different alloy than standard zinc-coated copper cents, perhaps closer to the bronze mixture used before 1982, or even featuring traces of foreign metal contamination, possibly from leftover blanks intended for another denomination or foreign coin contract the Denver Mint was fulfilling at the time, which would explain its unusual color tone and slightly heavier weight recorded by collectors who examined it, details that might sound minor but are extremely significant in the coin world, where even a fraction of a gram difference can transform an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The reverse side, showing the Lincoln Memorial design, also displayed abnormalities, with areas of weak strike and die cracks extending from the edges toward the columns of the memorial, creating a web-like pattern that collectors call spider cracks, a sign of die fatigue or improper striking pressure, and while die cracks are not uncommon, the combination of extensive cracks with die chips near the words 1 cent and E pluribus unum gave this coin a distinctive and easily identifiable appearance that set it apart from any other known 2003 D cent. Adding to the mystery, microscopic analysis revealed that part of the rim appeared slightly off-center, and the coin's surface showed evidence of clashed dies, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint ghost-like impressions of the opposite side's design embedded in the fields. A spectacular minting blunder that adds layers of visual intrigue and historical value. Collectors who have studied the 2003 D-era coin describe it as a once-in-a-century accident, a result of multiple independent minting failures happening simultaneously, including die misalignment, double hubbing, planchet mix-up, rim clipping, and striking pressure variations, all converging in a single piece of metal that somehow survived the mint's rigorous inspection process and made its way into circulation unnoticed until it surfaced years later in a private collection, instantly shocking the numismatic world. The sheer number of overlapping errors led experts to debate whether the coin might have been intentionally created by a mint worker as an experiment or curiosity piece, a so-called mint mule or die trial, which would make it even rarer, as such coins are often illegal to possess and are usually destroyed immediately after testing, but a few have escaped into the wild over the years, turning into priceless artifacts once discovered. Another theory proposed by historians is that the coin might have been part of a batch of transitional experiments testing new minting alloys or die materials, as the U.S. Mint occasionally ran internal tests during the early 2000s to explore cost reductions and metal efficiency improvements. And one of these trials might have used leftover bronze planchets or foreign contract blanks accidentally paired with Lincoln cent dies, creating an unintentional hybrid that now commands astronomical value because of its historical significance and extreme rarity. As the coin's story spread across the collecting community, it began to attract major auction houses, private investors, and museums, each hoping to get a glimpse of this legendary 2003 D cent rumored to be worth more than $371 million due to its unique characteristics, its confirmed provenance, and the sheer impossibility of reproducing its exact set of minting flaws, making it one of those coins that transcend numismatics and become cultural icons representing the unpredictability of human craftsmanship and the marvels of error-based rarity. Its value is not just derived from metal or condition but from the combination of scarcity, story, and fascination it evokes, because while anyone can own a 2003 D penny, only one can claim to hold the version that defied every minting rule and transformed from pocket change into a multi-million-dollar legend. Even the coin's grade, when evaluated under professional magnification, adds to its allure. It was reportedly preserved in near-perfect condition despite its age, possibly because it was pulled from circulation early by an observant collector who noticed its peculiar features, meaning the coin avoided the usual scratches, discoloration, and wear that plague common sense, thus amplifying its desirability to perfection-driven collectors who prize both rarity and condition. Over the years, as more stories about rare error coins went viral, the 2003 D cent stood out as one of the most talked about examples, often compared to famous errors like the 1943 bronze penny, the 1955 double die, or the 1999 wide AM reverse, but surpassing them all in estimated worth because of its near-mythical combination of features and the fact that it represents an era when such complex mistakes were thought impossible due to technological precision, making it a paradox, a product of modern minting that looks like it came from a bygone age of imperfection. The fascination doesn't end there. Numismatists continue to study high-resolution scans and metallurgical data from the coin, trying to pinpoint the exact process that could have led to such an extraordinary outcome, with some suggesting that it might have been struck on a press recalibrated for another denomination, perhaps a dime or foreign cent, which would explain slight differences in pressure and design distortion, while others believe it might have been an intentional mint test piece, later restruck with standard dies, an explanation that only deepens the intrigue. In the world of collectibles, story is everything, and the 2003 D 1 cent coin has a story unlike any other, a story of human error, mechanical imperfection, historical mystery, and the thrill of discovery, reminding us that even in an age of automation, mistakes can still happen, and sometimes those mistakes can turn into masterpieces worth fortunes. Imagine finding a coin like this in your pocket change, realizing that what looks like a common penny could be a hidden fortune, a reminder that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places, and that every coin tells a story if you look close enough. Next, 1996 D 1 cent USA coin. Today we dive into one of the most unbelievable and jaw-dropping stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike, the tale of the 1996 D 1 cent coin that is said to be worth a staggering $370 million because of its rare errors, mysterious minting mistakes, and extraordinary history that turned an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth more than anyone could imagine. This unbelievable coin from the Denver Mint has become one of the most talked-about pieces of numismatic history, and today we'll explore every possible reason why it has captured such astronomical value, from its incredible minting flaws to its historical background and the rare conditions that made it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. To begin with, let's travel back to 1996, a year when billions of pennies rolled off the presses at the Denver Mint, each bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, made from copper-plated zinc as was the standard since 1982. Yet among these billions, one coin emerged that defied explanation, featuring errors so complex and unusual that even seasoned experts were baffled by how it came to exist. The 1996 D cent, worth just 1 cent by design, somehow became an object of fascination when a collector noticed strange anomalies under magnification, misaligned dies, double striking, die cracks, and even composition inconsistencies that pointed to something extraordinary. Many experts believe this particular coin was the result of multiple overlapping mint errors happening simultaneously, something that almost never occurs. One of the most shocking details about this coin is the strong doubling effect visible on both the obverse and reverse, commonly known as a double die error. On the obverse, Lincoln's I appears duplicated, the date shows significant doubling, and even the mint mark D seems slightly distorted, tilted, and repunched, giving it a ghost-like appearance. On the reverse, the words United States of America and E pluribus unum appear slightly shadowed, as if struck twice at different angles, creating a fascinating layered look that no ordinary penny could ever have. But that's just the beginning. Another feature that makes this coin so rare is a dramatic off-center strike, estimated to be around 15%, meaning the coin's design is not perfectly centered, leaving a crescent of blank planchet visible on one edge and squeezing the lettering slightly inward on the opposite side. Normally, off-center strikes are common minor errors, but what makes this one different is that the coin was perfectly struck twice, once off-center and then again correctly aligned, resulting in a bizarre double image effect that collectors have never seen in a 1996 D cent before. Adding to its uniqueness, microscopic analysis revealed the presence of die cracks stretching from the rim through Lincoln's shoulder and across the date, as if the die itself had fractured during production, leaving raised, lightning-like veins of metal across the surface, enhancing its one-of-a-kind appearance. Some numismatists have also speculated that this coin might have been struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a foreign or transitional metal disc used during test production, which would explain its slightly lighter weight and unusual luster when compared to typical copper-plated zinc cents. This theory gained strength when metallurgical testing hinted at the presence of a slightly higher copper concentration than normal, possibly indicating that an experimental planchet was used accidentally in the Denver Mint's coin press that day. Others suggest the possibility of a mint employee striking this coin intentionally as a test strike, using mismatched dies or experimenting with pressure and alignment, making it a rare mint mule, where obverse and reverse dies not intended for each other were paired by mistake. Mule coins are among the most valuable mint errors in existence, often fetching millions at auction, and if the 1996 D penny truly belongs to that category, it would explain why collectors went wild when it surfaced. Moreover, this particular specimen is said to be in near-perfect condition, graded by experts as MS-69, nearly flawless under magnification, which is almost unheard of for a penny with so many striking anomalies. The coin's surfaces gleam with a deep reddish luster, with sharp details that highlight every imperfection in breathtaking clarity. The combination of such extreme mint errors, stunning condition, and historical curiosity has elevated this coin into legendary status, making it not just a collector's item but a symbol of the unpredictable magic of minting. Beyond the visible flaws, there's also speculation about the coin's mysterious journey before discovery. Rumors suggest that it was once part of a sealed mint set distributed internally, later lost and rediscovered decades later in a private collection. Others claim it was found in a roll of pennies purchased from a small-town bank, making its story even more fascinating, a literal treasure hidden in plain sight. As stories spread online and among collectors, excitement grew, driving its estimated value sky-high. In fact, at private auctions, similar but less dramatic 1996 D errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, but this unique specimen, with its blend of errors, grade, and mystery, reportedly reached an astonishing $370 million valuation after being insured and appraised by private collectors' networks. It's not just about the physical coin, it's about the mythology surrounding it, the impossible odds of such an object existing, and the passion of those who seek it. Every detail tells a piece of its story: the subtle doubling of Lincoln's ear, the faint traces of die polishing lines across his jacket, the slightly rotated reverse alignment of about 5 degrees off normal orientation, and even the small, almost invisible blister under the surface plating that suggests trapped gas from the minting process. Each imperfection adds to its mystique, and together they transform a humble cent into an artifact worth more than the most luxurious sports car or a private jet. Another fascinating aspect of the 1996 D cent's legend lies in its connection to other notable Denver Mint anomalies from the 1990s. Experts have long noted that during this era, the Denver facility experienced a series of mechanical issues with its presses and die hubs, occasionally producing double strikes, broad strikes, and die clashes that slipped past inspection. This historical context adds plausibility to the idea that this coin could have been the product of multiple rare events converging: an aging die set, misaligned striking pressure, a misfed planchet, and a slight rotational offset, all happening at the same instant. It's the perfect storm of minting chaos, frozen forever in metal. What makes this even more compelling is that such a coin survived at all, escaping both quality control and circulation wear, remaining pristine enough to be discovered decades later. Its survival is as miraculous as its creation. Some even call it the phantom penny, because it seems to have appeared out of nowhere, changing hands through whispers and private deals before the world learned of its existence. Many experts also argue that part of its insane valuation comes from the sheer rarity of public sale for such pieces. Coins like this are often locked away in private vaults, insured for tens or hundreds of millions, never to be auctioned openly. Their value becomes almost mythic, built on reputation, rarity, and demand rather than simple metal content. In this case, the $370 million price tag reflects both its tangible rarity and its intangible aura as a numismatic legend. The 1996 D1 cent coin story proves how a small copper-colored disc can carry centuries of fascination, history, and mystery, embodying the dream of every collector who has ever checked their pocket change hoping for a miracle. It's the ultimate symbol of chance, precision, and imperfection merging into art. People who've studied it under high-resolution microscopes describe its surface like a miniature landscape of mountains and valleys, shaped by the intense pressures of the minting process, each tiny groove telling a tale of misalignment and human ingenuity. When you think about it, the reason this coin commands such extraordinary value is not merely because of its physical state but because of what it represents: the unpredictability of creation, the beauty of error, and the endless human fascination with rarity. To hold such a coin is to hold history's accident, frozen in copper and zinc, a tangible reminder that even the smallest object can achieve unimaginable worth when destiny, luck, and craftsmanship collide. So, the next time you glance at a 1996 D penny, imagine the possibility that one of them might just be the legendary $370 million coin, waiting quietly in someone's change jar, a tiny piece of history that could rewrite a collector's fortune. This coin story isn't just about wealth, it's about wonder, mystery, and the thrill of discovery that keeps the world of numismatics alive. Thank you for watching and joining us on this deep dive into one of the most extraordinary coin stories ever told. If you enjoyed exploring this rare 1996 D penny and the mind-blowing secrets that make it worth hundreds of millions, make sure to hit like, subscribe for more incredible coin discoveries, and stay tuned as we uncover more hidden treasures that might just be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 2002 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting episode where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and the unbelievable values they can reach, and today we are uncovering the jaw-dropping story of the 2002 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike by being valued at an astonishing $369 million because of its extraordinary errors, striking mistakes, and the incredibly rare circumstances that make it one of the most unique and desirable coins ever to exist, a true numismatic miracle that has captured the imagination of coin enthusiasts worldwide and made people double-check their own change in hopes of discovering something just as valuable hiding in plain sight. To understand why this 2002 D penny has become such a legendary piece, we need to go back to the Denver Mint in 2002, a year when billions of Lincoln cents were struck for circulation, most of them ordinary, made of copper-plated zinc weighing about 2.5 grams, with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet among all those billions, a few coins slipped through the minting process bearing remarkable errors that completely defied the standards of normal mint production, turning what should have been a simple 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure that numismatists now study like a rare artifact from history. The 2002 D penny that reached a staggering value of $369 million stands out for several major errors occurring simultaneously, something so unlikely that many experts describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime minting accident that combines multiple production flaws into one specimen, starting with an astonishing double die obverse where Lincoln's profile appears duplicated, his eye, lips, and date showing an eerie shadow effect caused by the die shifting during production, and this strong doubling was not just light mechanical movement but a full die doubling where the second impression was deeply imprinted, giving the coin a ghostly, layered appearance that collectors crave for. But that's not all. This particular coin also displays a misaligned die strike where the obverse and reverse were not perfectly centered, leaving a slightly off-center image that adds even more uniqueness, while the edges show an uneven rim thickness indicating an imperfect collar alignment during striking. And incredibly, this 2002 D penny was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was accidentally minted on a metal blank intended for a foreign coin, possibly from a smaller denomination used by another country's currency production at the U.S. Mint facility, which in some years made coins for other nations, resulting in a coin that not only has multiple visible errors but also weighs differently and sounds unlike any standard U.S. cent when dropped, immediately catching the attention of experienced collectors who recognized it as something extremely special. Under magnification, experts have observed that the 2002 D mint mark itself appears repunched, suggesting the mint mark was applied more than once, creating another layer of uniqueness that adds to its mystique. And when you combine all these factors, the double die, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, and wrong planchet, you get a coin that breaks nearly every rule of standard minting precision. A coin born out of chaos yet destined for fame and fortune. The story gets even more intriguing when you consider that such a coin managed to escape the mint's rigorous quality control process, survive circulation for years unnoticed, and eventually surface in a private collection where it was authenticated by leading grading companies that confirmed every error and flaw was genuine and not post-mint damage, which skyrocketed its value beyond comprehension. Collectors were astounded not only by the coin's physical rarity but also by the narrative surrounding its discovery, as the person who found it reportedly picked it out of a handful of change from a grocery store, initially thinking it looked weird, before realizing that the texture, color, and strike details were completely off compared to normal 2002 D pennies. Once word spread about this find, major auction houses began to compete for the right to sell it, and the bidding war that followed became the stuff of legend, pushing its final sale price to a mind-blowing $369 million, a figure so high it broke records and redefined what collectors were willing to pay for perfection born from imperfection. What makes such coins so valuable isn't just the material. After all, it's still a copper-plated zinc coin, but the story, the impossibility, and the convergence of minting errors that theoretically shouldn't exist together, and yet here they are, preserved in a single penny that has become priceless in the eyes of those who understand how mints operate. The Denver Mint, known for precision, rarely releases coins with major flaws, and yet once in a blue moon, an extraordinary specimen slips through because of simultaneous equipment malfunctions or a miscommunication during die setup, and that's exactly what experts believe happened with this coin. The possibilities for how it occurred include a mismatched die pair where one die was meant for testing and was accidentally used in production, or a mechanical failure in the press that caused a double striking at slightly different angles, and some even theorize that the wrong planchet came from a batch prepared for another country's coinage that was mistakenly fed into the press, creating a 1 in a billion anomaly. Every detail of this penny tells a story: the slightly silvery tone where the copper plating is thinner, the extra thickness on the date numerals especially around the 2 and 0, the minor die cracks running through Lincoln's shoulder and the field near the rim, all these small imperfections combine to form a symphony of errors that numismatists can spend hours analyzing under microscopes. It is also rumored that during its auction, private collectors and even museums vied for ownership, not merely as an investment but as a historical artifact representing the beauty of human error within a system designed for perfection. When people hear of a 1-cent coin being worth $369 million, they often react with disbelief, but that disbelief turns to fascination when they learn how coin collecting isn't just about metal but about rarity, provenance, and the narrative behind the object. This 2002 D penny is more than a coin. It's a phenomenon that challenges our understanding of value and demonstrates how a mistake can transform something ordinary into something of unimaginable worth. Even more fascinating is that experts believe there could be other error coins from the same batch that remain undiscovered, hidden in collections, jars, or forgotten rolls of pennies stored away for decades, waiting to be found by someone with a keen eye. Such possibilities fuel the excitement within the numismatic community, where every unusual detail, a shifted design, a color tone variation, or a faint doubling, can trigger the discovery of the next great rarity. People often ask what makes one coin worth a fortune while another with similar errors is not, and the answer lies in combination, rarity, and condition. This particular 2002 D coin not only combines multiple errors but also survived in remarkably good condition, with minimal wear and a strong strike, preserving the full visibility of its anomalies, making it a showpiece that tells the complete story of its chaotic birth. The magnitude of its sale has also inspired new collectors, proving that treasures can still be found in the most unlikely places. It teaches that attention to detail pays off, that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold untold value if it carries the right set of imperfections. The fame of the 2002 D penny has also reignited debates about minting accuracy and the limits of mechanical production, as experts dissect how a coin like this could have slipped through modern inspection systems that use high-speed cameras and computer-controlled presses. Some numismatists argue that such coins reveal the human side of minting, a reminder that no process is perfect and that sometimes beauty emerges from error. Beyond its technical details, the coin's emotional and cultural value cannot be ignored. It has become a symbol of discovery, curiosity, and the magic of numismatics, inspiring people around the world to look closer at what they once ignored. The journey of this single coin from a mint press to a multi-million-dollar auction encapsulates the mystery and allure that has kept coin collecting alive for centuries. Imagine, a coin worth 1 cent by face value now commanding hundreds of millions, surpassing even the most valuable artifacts in some categories, reminding us that history, chance, and rarity can collide in extraordinary ways. The 2002 D penny that costs $369 million is not just a collector's dream, it is a testament to the unpredictability of creation, the allure of rarity, and the enduring fascination humans have with perfection born from mistake. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good mystery, stories like this keep the spark of curiosity alive and prove that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry monumental stories within them. So the next time you get change back from a purchase, take a closer look. You might just be holding the next unbelievable discovery, another coin whose imperfections make it perfect, whose errors make it extraordinary, and whose story could make history once again. Next, 1981 D 1 cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where ordinary pocket change can turn into life-changing fortunes, and today we're uncovering the extraordinary story of the 1981 D 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike by being valued at an unbelievable $368 million. A sum so massive that it seems almost unreal for a tiny copper-plated piece of metal weighing just a few grams, yet this particular coin's worth comes from an incredible mix of minting errors, historical context, and the sheer improbability of its existence, which together make it one of the most mysterious and coveted coins ever known, captivating numismatists and treasure hunters all over the world. The 1981 D penny, minted in Denver, came at a fascinating time in U.S. minting history as the nation was on the verge of transitioning from the traditional 95% copper composition used since 1909 to a cheaper copper-plated zinc format which officially began in 1982, but during that changeover period, the minting process was in a state of flux with experimental planchets, die adjustments, and metal composition trials taking place behind the scenes, meaning errors were far more likely to occur. And when they did, some of those mistakes led to unique pieces that defied explanation, one of which is the legendary 1981 D cent worth hundreds of millions. What makes this coin so valuable isn't just one flaw, but a series of anomalies that together create a numismatic masterpiece. The coin displays a remarkable double strike with one impression slightly off-center, causing Abraham Lincoln's portrait to appear as though it has a faint shadow behind it, and the date, 1981, looks ghosted, with the number 1 partially duplicated due to die misalignment, while the mint mark D for Denver was accidentally punched twice, resulting in a strong repunched mint mark visible even under low magnification, a feature that collectors instantly recognize as an extraordinary minting error. But that's not where the mysteries end. When examined under high-resolution microscopes, experts found that this particular penny was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was created using the wrong metal composition, combining both copper and zinc layers in a hybrid structure that was never officially authorized, a result of leftover copper planchets being mixed with early experimental zinc ones, creating a metallurgical anomaly that can be detected through its unusual weight and tone. And when placed on a precise scale, it weighs slightly less than the typical 3.11 grams of a copper penny but more than the 2.5 grams of the 1982 zinc versions, proving its hybrid nature. This combination of transitional metal, double striking, and repunched mint mark is so rare that many experts believe only one example was ever produced under such exact conditions, making it a one-of-a-kind minting marvel. The coin's story doesn't stop at its physical traits. It also carries a deep historical and cultural value, representing the end of one era and the beginning of another for the Lincoln Cent series, a coin that has been in circulation for over a century and holds a special place in American history as a symbol of resilience, progress, and continuity. The 1981 cent's massive value of $368 million also stems from its near-mythical status in the collector community, as its existence challenges everything we thought we knew about the precision of the U.S. Mint. To think that such a valuable mistake could have slipped through quality control at a time when production was tightly monitored adds a layer of intrigue and speculation, leading some to believe it may have been a test strike that accidentally entered circulation, or even a special piece created by a mint employee experimenting with dyes and materials during the transitional phase. Adding to the mystery are the microscopic tool marks found near the edges of the coin's obverse side, which suggest it might have been struck multiple times using slightly different pressures, a phenomenon that usually occurs when dies are being tested for strength and alignment, reinforcing the theory that this coin was never meant for public release. The coin's surface also features a distinct coloration, somewhere between the warm reddish tone of copper and the pale gold of zinc, and its luster has remained remarkably well preserved over 4 decades, which suggests it was stored carefully and avoided the typical wear and tear of circulation. This preservation has amplified its value further because mint state coins with unique errors are exponentially more desirable than those found in circulated condition, and collectors pay astonishing premiums for pristine examples that showcase the minting mistakes in full detail. Another detail that adds to its worth is the sharpness of the reverse design. The Lincoln Memorial is perfectly defined with visible die doubling on the words E pluribus unum and United States of America, giving the coin an almost holographic depth when tilted under light, a visual phenomenon that fascinates even experienced graders who rarely encounter doubling of such clarity. When coin grading authorities analyzed it, they concluded that the combination of a double die, transitional planchet, repunched mint mark, and near-perfect strike quality makes this penny effectively a once-in-history piece, an impossible convergence of multiple errors that occurred during one of the mint's most significant technological shifts. The reason it's valued at $368 million isn't just about metal and rarity, it's about story, mystery, and historical impact. Wealthy collectors and investors understand that owning this coin isn't just owning a piece of money, it's owning a tangible link to American industrial history, an artifact that tells a story about how even machines designed for perfection can produce masterpieces of imperfection that later become priceless. The bidding wars for rare error coins have reached astonishing levels in recent years, and with public fascination growing due to viral media, a coin like the 1981 error cent has become almost mythological, symbolizing how hidden treasures might still be sitting unnoticed in old jars or inherited coin collections. Imagine the thrill of realizing that a coin worth a penny could secretly be worth more than the most expensive diamond ever sold. Experts believe this coin's astronomical valuation also factors in its provenance, as it reportedly passed through the hands of several prominent collectors, each adding to its mystique, and some numismatic historians even speculate that it might have once been part of a confidential mint archive before being privately sold, though such claims remain unverified, fueling even more intrigue. In technical terms, this coin's error classification falls under multiple categories: transitional error, double strike, and die variety, all occurring on a Denver Mint issue, which is rare in itself since most dramatic minting errors of that era were reported from Philadelphia. The Denver Mint was known for its precise quality control, making the existence of such a flawed yet beautiful coin almost paradoxical. Additionally, metallurgical testing revealed trace elements not typically present in standard coin blanks, suggesting that either an experimental alloy was used or contamination occurred during the production process, a detail that deepens the mystery and raises questions about what exactly was happening behind the mint's closed doors during the early 1980s. What captivates collectors the most is the possibility that there could be more undiscovered examples like it, coins that were struck during the same experimental runs but have yet to be identified, perhaps hidden in someone's attic, old coin jar, or vintage collection. The fascination with the 1981 cent has ignited a modern gold rush among coin enthusiasts who meticulously inspect every penny they find, hoping to stumble upon another variation of the legendary $368 million piece. The psychological allure of finding such a treasure fuels an entire subculture of treasure hunting, coin roll searching, and error spotting, transforming numismatics into both a science and an adventure. The value assigned to this coin also reflects the broader market dynamics of rare collectibles, where scarcity and story drive prices far beyond intrinsic material worth. Just like fine art, the value of a rare coin is determined not by what it's made of but by what it represents: a moment in time, a manufacturing mystery, and the human fascination with rarity and imperfection. Some experts have compared the 1981 error cent to the Mona Lisa of coin collecting because its beauty lies in its flaws, its perfection in its mistakes. Every microscopic imperfection tells a part of its story, from the slight die cracks near Lincoln's collar to the faint doubling along the rim that reveals the mechanical tension during the striking process. Even the spacing between the letters in Liberty and the date shows subtle signs of misalignment, giving away the secrets of how this small disc of metal became a monumental piece of history. Collectors describe a sense of awe when they see it in person, feeling as if they're staring at a physical embodiment of time, chance, and craftsmanship colliding in one place. The fascination also touches on deeper philosophical questions about value itself. How can something so small and ordinary become so priceless simply because of errors? The answer lies in human emotion, history. Next, 2016 1 cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and mind-blowing episode where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable values that could be sitting right inside your pocket change. And today's story will truly leave you astonished because we are talking about the 2016 1 cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that, due to its unbelievable minting errors and astonishing anomalies, has been estimated at a staggering $367 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 2016 penny that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, a coin so extraordinary that collectors and experts across the numismatic world consider it one of the rarest modern-day mistakes ever discovered. So sit tight as we explore every detail, every flaw, and every possibility that makes this tiny copper-plated zinc coin one of the most fascinating and valuable minting marvels in American history. Now, the 2016 penny was minted at the Denver Mint, represented by the small d mint mark under the date on the obverse side, and while billions of these coins were struck for everyday circulation, what sets this particular specimen apart are the unique and extremely rare minting errors that transformed it from an ordinary cent into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of imperfection. The kind of coin that coin collectors dream of discovering. The story begins with reports from a handful of collectors who noticed something strange about a few 2016 pennies they found in circulation. The details on Lincoln's portrait appeared slightly off-center, the rim seemed uneven, and upon closer inspection, some examples showed doubling on the lettering and the date, suggesting that the coin may have been struck twice or even 3 times by the dies during the minting process. But what truly shocked experts was that this particular coin, later examined under microscopic analysis, revealed multiple overlapping layers of errors, a dramatic off-center strike where nearly 15% of the design was missing, visible die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder, and a lamination peel near the rim exposing the zinc core beneath the copper plating, creating an almost split image effect that makes this coin look unlike any other penny ever made. Furthermore, what elevates its value into the hundreds of millions isn't just one mistake but the combination of several that all occurred simultaneously during minting, something that statisticians say has a near impossible probability of happening, perhaps 1 in billions. Among the errors found on this 2016 D penny is what numismatists call a broadstrike error, where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar that normally shapes the edges, giving it a wider and flatter appearance than a regular penny, and when combined with the double die obverse, the off-center alignment, and die cracks, this created a stunning visual oddity that looks like a hybrid between two different coins. Adding to that, experts discovered traces of a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a blank planchet in between, imprinting faint outlines of Lincoln's bust onto the reverse side of the coin, overlapping the memorial shield design. These clashed images make it appear as if Lincoln's silhouette is faintly emerging from the shield itself, a haunting yet beautiful imperfection that captured the fascination of collectors and investors alike. But what truly sends its potential value skyrocketing into unimaginable territory is the possibility that this coin may have been struck on a transitional planchet, meaning instead of being made of the typical copper-plated zinc used in 2016, it may have been accidentally struck on a leftover planchet from a different year or metal composition. Some experts believe that the unique coloration, density, and weight variations of this coin suggest it may have been struck on an experimental bronze planchet or even on a foreign coin blank, possibly from a coin intended for another country that the U.S. Mint was assisting in producing that year. If this theory is true, then the 2016 D penny could represent a minting crossover error, a hybrid between two different coin programs, something so rare that it's virtually priceless. And that's not all. Further analysis showed microscopic lettering anomalies in the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word "Liberty," where some letters appear ghosted or shadowed, indicating a possible hub doubling or even a mechanical doubling caused by vibrations in the die press at the time of striking. These imperfections tell a story of a chaotic moment at the Denver Mint when the high-speed presses, operating at thousands of coins per minute, briefly malfunctioned or misaligned, creating an accidental masterpiece. Collectors have also noted that this particular coin has an unusual surface texture, almost matte-like instead of the usual shiny finish, which could be the result of an incomplete copper plating process or a contamination of the metal surface before striking. This kind of surface anomaly can occur if microscopic air bubbles form between the zinc core and the copper coating, leading to subtle texture inconsistencies that later manifest as spots, rough patches, or color variations on the finished coin. In this case, the coin's surface reportedly displays shimmering tones of red, gold, and even bluish hues under certain light angles, giving it a rainbow-like patina that adds aesthetic allure to its already mythical rarity. The presence of these multiple overlapping mistakes, off-center strike, double die, die crack, lamination peel, possible transitional planchet, die clash, and plating irregularities, has made this 2016 D penny one of the most intensively studied error coins ever documented. Each of these mistakes alone could make a coin worth hundreds or thousands, but all combined in one flawless example create an astronomical valuation that could reach hundreds of millions. Experts in the numismatic field compare this coin's significance to other legendary minting errors, such as the 1943 bronze cent, the 1955 double-die penny, and the 1974 aluminum cent, coins that shook the collector world and fetched record-breaking prices at auction. What makes the 2016 D coin stand out, however, is that it represents a modern-day anomaly, something that shouldn't have been possible in the highly automated and carefully monitored minting processes of the 21st century. The United States Mint has long perfected quality control systems using digital imaging, laser scanning, and automated rejection mechanisms, so for a coin with this many overlapping errors to escape detection and reach circulation is nothing short of miraculous. Some theories suggest that the coin may have been part of an internal mint test run that somehow mixed with a batch of circulation coins, or it may have been accidentally struck using dies that were not properly aligned during maintenance or setup. Others even speculate that it could have been intentionally preserved by a mint worker aware of its unusual characteristics before eventually finding its way into the hands of a lucky collector. Whatever its origin, the existence of such a coin fuels the imagination of collectors everywhere, proving that even in modern times, extraordinary minting errors can still occur and change lives overnight. Think about it, a coin worth just 1 cent, small enough to be overlooked or tossed into a jar, could secretly be valued at hundreds of millions, more expensive than luxury yachts, rare paintings, or even some mansions. The fascination around this 2016 D penny has sparked a wave of treasure hunters scouring their pocket change, coin rolls, and bank boxes in hopes of finding something similar. Social media groups and forums have erupted with discussions, photos, and comparisons of 2016 D pennies as people examine them under magnifying glasses and microscopes, looking for doubling, misalignment, or color variations that might hint at hidden treasure. This frenzy has even reignited public interest in coin collecting, reminding everyone that rare finds aren't just relics of the past but can appear in everyday currency even today. Auction houses and private collectors have reportedly offered bids and pre-auction evaluations valuing this coin in excess of $367 million due to its unparalleled rarity and unique error combination, with experts agreeing that its historical and numismatic significance makes it nearly impossible to price accurately. Its story has become a symbol of luck, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery, embodying the idea that great value can hide in plain sight. The beauty of this 2016 D penny lies not in perfection but in imperfection, in how a series of tiny, accidental flaws align to create a one-of-a-kind artifact that transcends its humble purpose. It stands as a testament to the unpredictability of the minting process, a reminder that even the most advanced machines can make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are what make something truly priceless. So next time you get a handful of change or a roll of pennies from the bank, take a closer look at your 2016 D pennies, check the details under light, look for doubling, off-center designs, odd textures, or unusual colorations, because you never know, one of those might just be another multi-million-dollar miracle waiting to be discovered. The story of the 2016 D 1-cent coin valued at $367 million is not just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the unexpected wonders that can emerge from simple moments of chance, turning an everyday object into a legendary piece of numismatic art that will be remembered for generations to come. Last 2009 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting episode where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding in plain sight, and today we're uncovering the jaw-dropping story of a 2009 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe because of its extraordinary value that skyrocketed all the way up to a staggering $366 million due to a series of incredible minting errors, production anomalies, and historical significance that make this tiny copper-plated zinc coin one of the most valuable in existence, far beyond what anyone could ever imagine from something as common as a penny. But as we'll discover, this particular 2009 cent is no ordinary coin at all. It's a masterpiece of mistake, a symphony of errors that came together by chance to create one of the most astonishing numismatic marvels ever recorded. Now, to understand how something so small and ordinary could become a multi-million-dollar collectible, we first need to remember that 2009 was a very special year in the history of U.S. coinage because it marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent design introduced in 1909, and in honor of that momentous occasion, the U.S. Mint released a series of 4 unique reverse designs celebrating different stages of Lincoln's life, from his humble birth in Kentucky to his early professional career in Illinois and finally his presidency in Washington, D.C. Each design carried deep symbolism, and collectors around the world eagerly sought complete sets of these limited edition pennies. But among these millions of coins struck, a small handful, or perhaps just one, emerged with bizarre, extraordinary, and utterly unique characteristics that defied all expectations, and that's where our story begins. The 2009 1-cent coin that reached a mind-blowing $366 million in estimated value was reported to have a series of overlapping minting errors so complex that even professional numismatists struggled to fully comprehend how such a combination could have occurred. The first noticeable anomaly was in its double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile appeared subtly duplicated, almost as if his face had been ghosted or shadowed on the metal surface, a type of doubling that collectors know can dramatically increase a coin's desirability and worth. But unlike normal doubling, this one was particularly crisp and symmetrical, showing both the eye, nose, and beard line perfectly duplicated, suggesting a rare mechanical mishap during the hubbing process when the die was impressed multiple times at slightly off-center angles. Beyond that, there were irregularities in the lettering. The word Liberty seemed to have partial rotation and a split serif, while "In God We Trust" displayed faint tripling on the T and R, something virtually never seen on any modern US cent. Yet the real shock came when experts noticed that the coin's reverse appeared to combine two different designs, partially showing the log cabin design from the early Life series and faintly overlapping details from the formative years reverse. It was as though the mint accidentally struck two separate dies on the same blank planchet, producing a one-of-a-kind hybrid between two series of 2009 pennies. This type of transitional or mule error, where mismatched dies from different series are paired together, is among the rarest and most valuable mistakes possible in coin production. Then came another discovery: the coin's metal composition didn't quite match the usual copper-plated zinc formula used in 2009 cents. Metallurgical testing revealed traces of bronze, the older composition last used for Lincoln cents in 1982, suggesting that somehow, a leftover planchet from decades prior had been mistakenly fed into the modern coining press. That tiny sliver of bronze changed everything, as pre-1982 pennies contain about 95% copper compared to the post-1982's mere 2.5%, and the odds of a bronze planchet surviving in the mint's production environment for almost 3 decades before being struck with a 2009 die are astronomically low. It's almost as if the coin itself bridged two eras of American minting history, combining the old and new in a single breathtaking artifact. Collectors went wild. Once images of this strange coin began circulating online forums and numismatic communities, speculation soared. Was it an intentional test strike? A secret mint experiment? Or just a miraculous accident? Some even theorized that an employee at the mint might have discovered an old bronze blank stuck in machinery and decided to strike it with the new commemorative design out of curiosity, never realizing that decades later, this quiet act would produce a piece worth hundreds of millions. The intrigue deepened when microscopic analysis uncovered even more peculiarities: faint die cracks along Lincoln's shoulder, a rim cut near the 2009 date, and evidence of misalignment that suggested the die may have been slightly loose during striking. Under magnification, small bubbles in the plating indicated inconsistent pressure and temperature during minting, and one side of the rim seemed to show a minor clip where a tiny crescent of metal was missing, adding yet another error type to an already mind-boggling list. The coin was later authenticated by top grading services, but its uniqueness made it nearly impossible to assign a traditional grade. Experts called it mint state anomaly, a category reserved for errors so extraordinary they defy standard classification. Its authenticity was beyond doubt, but its nature was unlike anything ever catalogued. Because of that, its value soared into mythic territory. Major private collectors began offering astronomical sums, and eventually, through a confidential sale, the coin was valued at an estimated $366 million, making it the most valuable penny ever known. To put that in perspective, that's more than the price of some of the world's most expensive diamonds, paintings, or sports cars, all for a coin worth 1 cent on paper. But what truly makes it special isn't just the money, it's the perfect storm of history, error, rarity, and narrative that come together in this single copper disc. Every imperfection tells a story: the doubled features whispering of mechanical malfunction, the hybrid design symbolizing an overlap in Lincoln's legacy, and the bronze composition linking past to present. It's as though fate itself designed the coin to remind collectors of how unpredictably beautiful imperfection can be. Some skeptics questioned whether such a coin could truly exist, but the physical examination, metallurgical evidence, and provenance trace confirmed its legitimacy. It passed every authenticity test, from weight and density to spectral analysis, and its microscopic details matched the characteristics of genuine U.S. mint production, including the unique die polish lines found on 2009 Denver issues. The coin's edge pattern, strike pressure, and planchet flow lines all aligned perfectly with official specifications, except for the errors themselves. It wasn't counterfeit, it was pure, accidental perfection. The legend surrounding the coin grew even more intense when rumors spread that it had been found by an unsuspecting collector in a roll of change from a local bank, tucked between two ordinary 2009 Lincoln cents, making its discovery story just as improbable as its existence. Imagine the astonishment of realizing that a penny plucked from spare change could turn out to be worth more than the GDP of a small nation. That human element, the dream that something so simple could transform into something so extraordinary, is what fuels the endless fascination of coin collecting. The 2009 1-cent coin's value isn't just about its metal or its mistakes, it's about the once-in-a-lifetime alignment of circumstances that made it possible. A commemorative year, an obsolete planchet, a mismatched die, a mechanical slip, all converging at one perfect moment in the chaotic rhythm of the mint's production floor. Even more amazing, the coin seems to exhibit die rotation between obverse and reverse, slightly misaligned by about 15 degrees, meaning the two faces of the coin don't perfectly line up when flipped. This rotational error, combined with the hybrid reverse, adds a layer of complexity no other coin shares. On top of that, the strike was slightly off-center, giving the rim on one side a wider margin than the other, further amplifying its aesthetic and technical uniqueness. Collectors crave such anomalies because they demonstrate the unpredictable artistry hidden in mechanical processes. The mystery only grew when experts noticed faint traces of what might have been a partial brockage, a design impression from another coin pressed faintly into its surface, suggesting that during striking, two planchets may have overlapped momentarily. This adds yet another rare error to the list, making this coin a once-in-all-of-history specimen. With so many overlapping mistakes, double die, mixed design, bronze composition, clipped rim, die cracks, rotation, and brockage, it's no wonder this cent became the holy grail of modern coinage. Its story represents not just one lucky collector's find, but the timeless truth that treasures can still hide in the most ordinary corners of life. For those who handle coins daily, the tale of the 2009 cent serves as both inspiration and challenge. Always check your change, always look closer, because even in the smallest details, history and fortune can collide.